I'm a person. Non-binary just is a part of that. I'm not an ideology.
It's no secret that I'm not loved in the trans community. I'm not loved on social media such as Reddit, Twitter, TikTok, and yeah, even YouTube. So let's react to my haters online. First, let's hear from a non-binary YouTuber who streamed for over an hour only to talk about me.
We're going to be talking about a YouTuber called The Offensive Tranny. I want to watch one of his videos. He's like a lot of like very like kind of Ariel, Scarcella, Blair White type of energy. Kind of like we'll make fun of the blue-haired non-binary person.
I've never done that. I don't make fun of people. If you think so, you need to watch my videos again, and please do, because it's good for the business. Is it a possibility that just because I include them in my videos and in my thumbnails, that you automatically think I make fun of them? Doesn't that say a lot about you and how you view people with blue hair? And septum piercings and piercings all over? I do not make fun of how people look. I make fun of their ideas, their opinions, and their ideology. I want you to remember the last thing that she says. She says that I'm kind of like Ariel Scarcella and Blair White. She claims that I'm not my own person and unoriginal. Remember that because it will be relevant later on.
I just think that a lot of this stuff isn't really helpful generally because the type of people who like that type of content probably aren't going to be the ones like standing up for like trans people's rights, like period.
I'm only responsible for what I say. I'm responsible for what I say and not other people. So if someone is crazy and loves my videos, that's not my responsibility. If I have to be accountable for what other people say and do, so should you. There are crazy people who love you and your content, but it doesn't matter. You're only responsible for what you say, and as long as you're not saying something absolutely insane and illegal, you're fine. And so am I. I have a great audience. I have loving supporters who are very smart. I think that you all are so smart. I have an audience that is open-minded, tolerant, and balanced. We're probably talking about how not all people should medically transition. Children should not be transitioning. That's not a human right for a child to do. It's kind of the opposite, because forcing a kid to medically transition is actually against their human rights. And the second thing, children are not trans. Only adults can be transsexuals. We have to be careful handing out medical transitions, and I think that's a very reasonable argument and opinion to have. But again, if someone is a nut job and very religious, very conservative, and claim to support me, which they don't, that type of person doesn't really support me, so be it. I can't control who's following me and who likes my content.
I have this issue with people doing this thing where it's like, I've given non-binary ideology a chance, and like, I'm a person, you know? Like, I'm not an ideology. I'm an entire human being, right? Like, non-binary just is a part of that.
See, this is where you had to remember the first thing that she said, that I'm just another type of Blair White and Ariel Scarcella or something. Like I'm not my own person. Like I'm not an individual. Huh, how hypocritical. But it's so typical that these types of people only get offended when it directly affects them. So they can be as offensive as they want. As long as they don't get offended, everything's fine. No one is saying that you're not a human being. No one is saying that you're not an individual. See, if you believe in non-binary, if you believe in more than two genders, that's an opinion. An opinion. If you believe that the grass is purple and not green, that's an opinion, not a fact. You can do whatever you want, believe in whatever you want, but here's the thing, you believe instead of acknowledging reality, okay? There's the difference. If you as a biological woman, I'm talking about this woman in the video, if you as a biological woman cannot be a woman because of your opinions on gender stereotypes, that's on you. That's your opinion that you have to be in the middle of gender instead of just being a woman who's a little bit different. It's not a fact. It's not a fact that there isn't any room for women to be different, that there isn't room for men to be different, whatever that means. Non-binary is a part of woke ideology because it's based in rejecting reality. It's based in rejecting common sense, science, and biology. They reject societal norms and they want their own norms to be integrated into society.
When I hear like the idea, like the gay ideology and the homosexual ideology, like it seems like a dog whistle for like conservative people or whatever, for conservative or family values or whatever. But yeah, gender ideology, non-binary ideology, trans ideology. There are trans people, there are non-binary people. We talk about our experiences. It's weird because it's like, I don't know, like other things don't get categorized like that.
Okay, if you still don't understand why people call it an ideology, let me make something very clear. You're a woman on testosterone. You're a masculine woman, but you're not non-binary. The first thing I mentioned is a fact. The second thing I mentioned is something you believe you are. Those are two different things. It's a little bit different in my case. I'm a gender dysphoric person. I'm a biological woman, and I'm on testosterone. I got some surgery, so I look like a man in society. Those are facts, and what I claim to be is what I just said. So there's no difference. I believe that there are many ways to be a man or a woman. Cis, feminine, trans men, woman, woman, female, female, she. I'm the only valid trans in the world. Well, I'm glad that you understand. Just kidding. This is someone who thinks it's hypocritical when I talk about how there's a million ways to be a man, but I cannot accept that a trans man is wearing makeup, shows off his big boobs with long hair. If you look like Barbie, but you claim to be a man, it doesn't make sense. The majority of all people will never, ever understand. The difference between a regular man and a trans man is gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria is a mental disorder that takes away a person's freedom to express themselves however they want. It's kind of the whole point of a person transitioning to the opposite sex. Of course, I'm not the only transsexual person in the world. However, I'm very confident to say that no, not everyone share my experience. Not a lot of people are trans. So, what's the problem? I think it's a very good thing, actually. It's quite a difficult life. I recently got interviewed by this wonderful woman named Sarah. I'll leave a link down below. And apparently Reddit had a problem with that. I don't know what the problem was exactly, but let's read this. Regardless of his politics or views about the trans community, I'd take Marcus any day over Sarah because he's actually trans. She's a total outsider and her opinions are meaningless. I know we assume she's cis. I mean, at least you're not hypocritical when you say that only trans people can talk about trans politics and you don't hate me enough to say that my voice doesn't matter. So, even though we live in a crazy time right now, at least you, like gothic beauty, you're consistent. Since we're talking about individuality, Sarah's a human being too. And she has a lot to say and she's really smart. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your identity titles are. You have every right to talk about whatever you want. And I actually think that it's more great if you're not trans talking about this stuff, because then you're a part of the majority. It truly matters what the general public think. This is why we say that cis is a slur. Every single time the term is being used, it's being used in a negative way. Like, oh, she's cis, therefore her opinions are meaningless. I mean, what is the matter with these people? That's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment down below what you think, as always. Remember to hit subscribe and the notification bell. If you want, you can support me with a donation under Super Thanks, and it would help me out a lot. So thank you on beforehand. And I'll see you all in my next video. Peace out.